What's up, guys? Maraca Drac. All right, all joking aside, these are Gel Blaster BBs. Gel beads, gellets, whatever you call them, they don't taste very good. And we discovered that this year as we, for science, found out how biodegradable, how delicious. There's a lot of different options. Maybe I did it wrong. I just had the most cursed idea. For another time. Today I want to think about our top 5 Gel Blasters of not just the year, but in the category right now. And one interesting thing about Gel Blasters, and the reason that I want to do a top 5 list, is that there's a lot of different options out there right now. And seemingly against the odds, the one thing that all Gel Blasters have in common is that they keep growing in terms of their sales, their shelf presence, and they're not going away. Much like the sponsor of today's video, which is none other than Raid!
Ad time.
Bobo, you have a phone, don't you?
I'm spending time with my family this holiday season.
Your phone is the only family time over the holidays that you need, and that's because today's sponsor is Raid Shadow Legends. In case you've been walking your dog for the last 12 years, you might have missed that Raid is the #1 mobile gaming experience with PC-like graphics and over 80 million downloads. Millions of players can't possibly be wrong. This free-to-play PvP you and me DVD MRE is delicious and nutritious part of your gaming breakfast. I don't know about you, but whenever I pick up a new game, I immediately dive into the Vorthos, you know, the lore. And with so many diverse champions and all sorts of backstories and exciting adventures to get into, the world of Raid really has something for everybody. In particular, I like delving into the champions. There's just something about the character design in Raid, you know what I'm saying? Delve into that deep fantasy world, eh? Of course, no game is complete without bone-squelching action. Raid keeps the heat going with guaranteed non-stop action, huge battles. Something about Raid's big boss fights always keep me cranked down and hungry for more. Of course, Raid is dynamic and always evolving, with brand new events for any sponsorship season. Right now, you are just in time for the 12 Days of Raid event. Each day, you'll be brought a new chapter in the winter storyline, complete with opportunities to play mini-games and win prizes, including Amazon gift cards. Of course, existing players can head over to Plarium.com to get their existing holiday gift.
But Drac, are there any new champions?
Of course there are new champions, Bobo! This season, all the way up until February 20th, by logging in any 7 days in a row, you have the ability to unlock for free MMA legend Ronda Rousey. To celebrate this once-in-a-lifetime event, all you have to do is enter the special code RAIDRONDA in order to get a lot of in-game bonuses, including 3-day 100% XP bonus, 500k silver, and 5 full energy refills. What do you think of that, Bobo?
Wow, I always wanted to raid Ronda.
Who didn't? Please answer my fanmail, Ronda. And if you haven't already whipped out your phone to download Raid, it's time for you to click the link in the description box below or scan my handy QR code so that you will arrive in time for welcome bonuses such as Vergus. We're talking about a free epic champion, 200k silver, an energy refill, an XP boost, and an ancient shard you can use to summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game. All of this treasure and more is waiting for you in Raid Shadow Legends. And once you finish closing all those pop-ups, you can maybe find me in-game under my username DougDividome59. I feel like I just went through some sort of portal on my phone. All right, let's talk about Gel Blasters, starting with our honorable mentions. Our first honorable mention is pretty much literally anything that the company Gel Blaster makes, and you would recognize these from their silhouette. They have almost a space pistol kind of vibe. They've popularized a lot of the glow-in-the-dark gel pellets, and they tend to be some of the lower FPS, lower rate of fire, kind of cheaper mechanisms inside. It's almost a cliche to call them like the Chinese knockoff Gel Blasters, given that most of these blasters' design origin and ideation is from China in particular, but these are the ones that have perpetuated into the United States North American market and they tend to be some of the lowest performers and some of the cheapest ones that you can find on the shelves. Our other honorable mention is, of course, the slayer of many a younger sibling, and it is the last 4 or 5 boba taro pearls plus the ginormous straw that boba tea comes with. That's a free blaster with every purchase where, you know, you've finished all of your milk tea, you're at the dregs, the ice is starting to melt, they tend to be a little bit harder. You can just slurp those up and nice. Disney style hit whoever happens to be in your nearest vicinity with them. While the rate of fire and overall FPS of these pea shooters is not particularly potent, the fact that most of your potential targets are across a booth from you makes it far more palatable to pursue. Coming in at number 5, we have the Gel Fire Mythic. This entry from Hasbro is wearing the Nerf brand for seemingly no reason at all. And while it has possibly the best industrial design in terms of its shell, its integrated stock, etc., its price at 80 United States dollars is a little intense given that it is on the same performance level and using the same internal mechanisms as a lot of the cheaper gel fire blasters that we mentioned in the honorable mention category. The most popular way that I've described this to people who have asked me about it is that it is relatively anemic, and no amount of throwing $30,000 at nonsense and flagrantly fallacious marketing campaigns is going to make that go away necessarily. It gets on the list because between the Nerf branding and its high market volume, I think that this is going to be the entry level for a lot of people picking up gel blasters around the holidays this year. And it's not a terrible blaster, it's just you will be outclassed in virtually every category, from onboard ammo capacity, ease of reloading, the overall FPS, and of course the rate of fire and reliability, which puts us into our number 4 category. The number 4 blaster on our list is notable because it is not only the cheapest by far, but also the only blaster that does not require batteries. Now, we're not mentioning batteries across the board because most of these are using some sort of lithium derivative battery, and they are included in the prices that I'm using. But for $20, you don't get a battery with the Nebula Pro. Now, this is clearly an entrant from Dart Zone as part of their Hydro Strike line in gel blasters, and I think that it's interesting because it's some of the sleekest ID in that it doesn't have a hopper or a magazine or a drum or anything like that sticking off of it, on top of it, underneath it, what have you. This is a pretty sleek pistol design that is still delivering 200 FPS shots with an onboard capacity of 120 gel pellets, and it's doing that all in an internal storage unit while maintaining that FPS with no battery powers. And it's doing that with traditional kind of pullback power in the form of a spring style plunger system. And I think that it's just terrific. At 20 bucks, you can pick up 4 of these for virtually the price of anything else on this list, and that is entire cul-de-sac worth of play. Now, it is outclassed, and certainly in the sidearm category when you consider the high rate of fire of all of the electronic blasters by comparison. So I think it's safe to say that this is a 1 ball per second entry, but overall the incredibly cheap ease of entry point here to kind of get your feet wet or your hands wet or your friends wet, depending on who you're shooting, how, and when, is not to be missed. I think that it's a solid entrant into the category with remarkably high performance for something as small and inexpensive as it is. Coming in at number 3, you have the SRB 400. Now, this is the true to form, built kind of like an SMG sort of build out of the Splatterball ecosystem here. Now, the Splatterball brand is going to come up again in this list, but this is their semi-compact version with their high-performance internals. And when I say high-performance internals, I'm talking 10 to 12 balls per second in full auto. I'm talking full select fireboard. I'm talking a onboard kind of magazine reload system with magazines capable of holding 400 to 500 balls in each reload, and it comes with a special sling in its stock attachment position, so that this is the one that you really could play like an assassin game type with pretty comfortably without having to give up any sort of power. It's all the power of the Splatterball platform in the most compact package possible, and I think that its MSRP of 90 United States dollars is quite reasonable at this point in the list, because you're starting to get into this is your full-on primary category when it comes with all of the safety equipment, when it comes with all of the ammo that you could possibly need, when it comes with the magazine and the sling, etc., and so forth. That said, you could save a little bit of money and move up on the list by moving to number 2. The only problem with our number 2 category on the list is that it seems to have a hard time staying in stock. depending on when you're looking and what region you're in. But the Pulsar Pro is a serious complete package from the Hydro Strike line. It is the flagship of their entry level of 2 blasters, coming in at $85. It's been on sale multiple times over the course of the year, and it has some of the highest FPS performance of anything I've tested on the list. Were they outliers? Absolutely. That doesn't change the fact that it shoots a pretty nominal 210 FPS with an incredibly steady high rate of fire, and it's doing all of that from a magazine system that, while proprietary, is pretty serious, giving 500 rounds per magazine clicked in. Combine that with the ease of reloading, the ease of charging this blaster, and the overall really funky kind of tie-dye look, it still maintains all of the toy-esque elements that you need in a silhouette that otherwise looks very spooky, accomplishing all of that in an $85 package that includes everything that you need to go to your next water blaster battle or gel blaster battle, depending upon how you break down the category. It is no laughing matter at all. However, with all of that praise heaped upon the Pulsar Pro, there is something more powerful. As it stands right now in terms of your off-the-shelf options, the cream of the crop seems to be the SRB 1200 Splatterball. Why 1200? Well, it comes with a drum magazine that holds 1200 rounds, which, for all of the talk that we've done about reloading in this video so far, why not just not do that? Why not just never reload? 1200 rounds realistically gets you through multiple sessions of battle where everybody else is having to reload 2, maybe even 3 times, to the degree that by the time you're going to get more gellets, the round is over. You have conquered the battlefield. You could fire for literal minutes uninterrupted with this thing. It is a serious platform. Now, that said, it shares a lot with its sub-SMG kind of compact cousin in that it's an incredibly high performance, 200 FPS, 10 to 12 balls per second, high rate of fire, machine gun. It's the AEG equivalent of the gel blaster world, but when you combine the stock that it comes with, the very sleek design, the lights integrated into the blaster for dusk or dawn play, it's got a lot going for it, and it's doing all of that at a package that comes in at $110. So it's the only thing on our list that goes over the $100 mark for a primary, but in true top 5 fashion, it is at least the best thing on the list. Price can be either a major deterrent or an incentive to purchase something better, depending upon where you're at in your loadout building process, but I think that the purpose of this list is to say that if you're starting from scratch and you're willing to spend up to $110 on your loadout, it's tough to do better than just picking up the top of the line Splatterball and rocking that at virtually any event. The only thing that I could say that might be an exception to that is picking up one of the Springer pistols, which reduces everybody to almost like an old school pump paintball style of play. And I think that that has merits in and of itself and winds up being significantly less expensive if you're just trying to dip your toe into the gel blaster world. With that said, I'll have a link to everything in the description box down below if you want to check it all out, including a link to my web store where you could buy things that have nothing to do with gel blasters, but if you buy things on my web store, I'll be able to purchase more bubble tea, and that is an obsession that I am struggling with currently, so you could feed my habit there. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and smash the subscribe button. Don't forget to click the bell for notifications. Do all of the YouTube gobbledygook that I'm supposed to mention way earlier in the video. Don't forget to check out the Rage Shadow Legends ad 1 or 2 times because it was a ton of fun to make, and we will see you guys in the next one. Much love, blast on, Drac out.